Hello, Om Shanti. Okay. So today's topic is emotional stability. Before we understand how we can be emotionally stable, we need to understand the importance of emotional stability. Right? Like if I want to be a coder, I understand the importance of learning programming. Or like if I want to be a cricketer or a dancer, I understand the importance of consistency or practice, right? Similarly, if I want to be emotionally stable, then why is it that I want to be emotionally stable, right? We'll understand that first. So anyone, can you please tell me what do you mean by emotional stability? Any idea? You can write in the chat box. Sure. To explain emotional stability, I'll start with a quote. Okay. Don't. Okay. So someone replied to remain calm in all situations. Right. So I'll start with a quote which says that don't reply when you're angry, don't decide when you're sad, and don't promise when you're happy. What does the quote say? That don't promise when you are happy, don't reply when you are angry, and don't get and don't decide when you're sad. So what do we do when we are overexcited or when we are happy? We generally make promises. We commit to somebody and then we regret the whole life. कि यार इससे तो पीछा ही नहीं छूट रहा, right? Or what we do when we get angry, we say certain words which we regret the whole life. After saying, we regret it. Or we make certain decisions. Let's say if I don't get good marks in maths, then I decide that no, maths is not for me. We make decisions when we are sad, right? So this quote explains that what does we understand from all this? That it is our emotions that is controlling us, right? We are replying because we are angry. We are making decisions because we are sad. We are committing, we are promising when we are happy. All this, what we are doing, doing out of our emotions. So emotions are somewhere controlling us. Is that true? Let's see the other side of the story. If I'm emotionally stable, what would it like be? I'll choose to be happy. I'll choose to get angry. I'll decide what I want to feel. That is emotional stability, right? So what happened is, if you see science gave us knowledge about many things. Science taught us about biology, aeronautics, medicines, computers, many things. But science never taught us about emotions, our thoughts, our consciousness. Have you ever learned about that? No. So there are two different kinds of world. One is the outer world and one is the inner world. So science is about exploration, discoveries and invention of the outer world. But these emotions that we are feeling, is it outside or inside? The fear, anxiety, happiness, anger, all this is an outside world or inside world? Where do we feel it? Inside. Right? Yes, we feel it inside. but that has not been explored by science as of now. That is why over years we gained knowledge about the outer world, right? We got into the space, but we never got into our inner space. We learned how to get into the Mars, but we never learned how to control our mind, how to control our emotions, how to feel happy, right? So these two are different worlds. And over the time, since it was not being explored over the years, so we got emotionally weak because that was not taught to us, right? So see, let's see, if you're sitting in an exam hall, okay, and it's a biology paper, and like you have practiced and studied really hard, and at that point of time there is a trigger that happened, and you were reminded of your past that made you sad, or something that made you sad, and you emotionally burst out, and you started like you were feeling like crying. Will you be able to write that paper? Or let's say you got fear, you have the knowledge, but will you be able to perform the way you want to, right? So are you understanding the importance of knowing the inner world? Along with knowing the outside world, it is more important to know about the inside world, because that is what I experience the whole day. I don't experience going to Mars all the time, or I don't see the bones all the time. I don't see the computers all the time. What do I feel is what I experience the whole day, right? So in the corporates and in the industries also, people have started talking about EQ along with IQ. IQ we know how to enhance. Schools also teach us how to enhance IQ, which is intelligent quotient. We know how to enhance, but we never know how to enhance EQ, which is emotional quotient. So people have started talking about EQ as well. What is EQ? How to manage your emotions. And why is that important? Because in corporate as well, you need to do teamwork. You need to work along with people. And what will determine your relationships with that people is your emotions, right? So that is why in corporates also people have started talking about EQ. So today we learn how to enhance that. Okay, so for that, we'll sit back for a minute and we'll just simply observe, when was the last time that I got emotional? What was the feeling that I had? What was the last time I got irritated? I got anger? When I felt joyful? When I felt happy? Okay, so sit back. Take a deep breath and just think about the time when you last got emotional, when you got irritated or angry or happy. Just think about that moment and see what was the reason behind it. Okay. Would you like to share what came to your mind? You can share personally as well if you want. Anyone would like to share? You can raise your hand as well, or you can write in chat. Whatever came to your mind, you can share. Okay. So let's see. When do we generally get irritated? When do we get irritated? When things they don't work along the way I want, or the situation is not the way I want, right? Or the people are not acting the way I want. Then I get irritated? Yes. When do we feel happy? When do we feel happy? That's an easy thing to answer, right? When my parents don't, okay. So when my parents don't allow me to do something, yes, then we can feel irritated. Okay. So now, why is that? Because yes, the things were not my way, so I felt irritated, right? So now let's see, when do we feel happy? When do we feel happy? Do you feel happy when teacher doesn't come to the class, right? Or when there is a holiday announced, today you don't have to come to school, or you have a holiday of tuitions. Yes. When you achieve something, yes, you feel happy. You feel happy. So let's say if I achieve something, I feel happy. So if I don't achieve something, I feel sad, right? Simple equation. If I achieve something, I'll feel happy. If I don't achieve something, I'll feel sad. Let's say I got a new PlayStation and I'm feeling happy, right? And if I don't get a new PlayStation, I'll feel sad. Today teacher is not coming to class, I'm happy. Or today it's a holiday, I'm happy. So tomorrow there would be a class or a tuition or teacher will come, I'll be sad. It's a simple equation, right? You can relate to this? So now, if my happiness is dependent upon the situation and people, and if that is making me happy, then when the situation is not the way I want, I'll be irritated or I'll be sad or I'll be unhappy. Okay? So for the situations to be always my way, like for me to always achieve something, or for me to always have a PlayStation, or for me to always that the people behave my way, I need to have a contract with them, right? I need to have a contract that, hey, see, this is the way you need to be always, and you need to have a sign, and the other person also need to sign that, right? Then you'll be always happy. Do you think that? Right? So let's say I'm getting a PlayStation and I'm getting happy. So I need to have a contract with that PlayStation that, hey, you need to be like this forever. You cannot break, right? Because if it will break, I'll be sad, right? Or if my friends, they stop being the way they are, I need to have a contract that, hey, you need to be always polite and you need to be careful, else you're not my friend. This is our contract. Because if they change, I get sad, I get irritated, I get happy, right? Because if they change, I get emotional. My emotions change. Can we have that contract with everything that we have around? Can we have a contract with our friends or our parents to behave the way I want, or our parents to allow whatever we want? or to always have a new things like PlayStation or a dress or whatever? Can we have that kind of contract with things or with people or with situations around? Can we have that kind of contract? Do you know the things around? Just sit and see the things that you have around. Will they be always the way that you want, or they can change? Let's sit back, start from your body, and whatever things you have around you, table, bed, walls, chair, your parents, your friends, whatever things you own, whatever achievements you have, will it be same always, or will they change? They'll change, right? So does that mean that if I get PlayStation, I don't have to be happy? Because if I'm getting happy, I'm getting sad also. If I'm getting happy, I'm getting sad. That is the equation, right? So does that mean I don't have to be sad? Sorry, I don't have to be happy when I get PlayStation? Or when I achieve something, I don't have to be happy? Does that mean that? So to understand that, basically, we need to understand that there are two kinds of stories. One is the story that is playing outside, and other is the story that is playing inside. For example, let's say your friend, you saw a friend from a distance and you waved a hi, okay? But that person didn't wave you a hi back, like he didn't wave you a hi. It could be because there was something that he's going through last night and he couldn't reply you back, or maybe he didn't notice you, he didn't wave you a hi back. That is the situation outside that is happening. How do we play it inside? That person ignored me. He rejected me. How dare he? Let him come next time. I'll also not greet him. This is the story that we play inside. So the story outside is the story that is happening in the outer world. But what is the story that is happening in my inner world? Who's creating the story in my inner world? I am creating a story in my inner world. That is my version of the story, right? One is the story, which is happening outside, and the other is my version of the story. Yes. So it can happen that you also might have a friend around who would say that, yes, that person rejected you. He ignored you, right? So persons can have the same version of the story. They can also have different versions of the story. That is why we say we have different point of view, right? We say we have different points of view. That is the reason, because we have different versions of story. So the situation outside can be okay, cannot be okay. Like we discussed one that wasn't okay and I played a story inside. Okay, now let's discuss a situation which was okay. I'll tell you my personal experience. So there was a time when I went for a sightseeing, and it was really beautiful garden. It was Japanese garden in Seattle. So it was very beautiful garden, like Japanese trees around and golden fishes. It was really very beautiful. But you know, the story that was going inside me was of past. I was remembering past. I was thinking, oh, that thing didn't happen right with me. Oh, that thing didn't happen right with me. It should have been that way. It should have been that way. Since that story was going inside me, although the situation outside was so pleasant weather, everything was so calm, so beautiful, I wasn't able to enjoy that at all. Why? Because The story that I was creating inside me is the thing that I was experiencing. I was experiencing regret. I wasn't experiencing peace or calm that was outside. So the version of story that we create inside is the thing that we experience. Right? You're understanding? The situation outside can be okay, cannot be okay. But our experience depends upon the story that I'm creating inside. Right? So what is the thing that determines the story that we create inside? There's a very important thing. So if you see the situation outside, what is it? What is it actually? It's just an image. It's an image. It can have sound. So all this external world, how do we receive information from this external world? Through our five sense organs. We see through our eyes, we smell, we taste, we hear, we feel, right? So through five sense organs, the information gets to our inner world. Okay? But the situation, sorry, the things that get to our inner world, then it is just an image. It is just a sound. It is just a feel. It is just a taste, right? But we add a meaning to it. You remember, so I remember that in school days, we were given a photo or any picture and we were asked to write about it. What do you perceive out of this picture? So that happens. You're given an image and you have to interpret. What do you mean by this? What can you think? What you can imagine? Right? That happens. So that is just an image, but we need to create a meaning out of it. So for us to understand what is happening outside, the information gets through our five sense organs and then we create a meaning to it. That is how we perceive it. We interpret it. That yes, he ignored me. Right? I'm adding a meaning to it. That meaning is different for different persons because we perceive. So that is why it is said, we perceive as we are. To understand this better, the things, we don't see things outside as they are. We see them as we are. Why do we say this? We see things as we are and not what the things are actually are. We see things or we perceive as we are because we add a meaning to it. We create our own stories. It's a little deep thing to understand, but is it clear that we all have our own perceptions which add a meaning to any situation that is happening outside? Is it clear? Right, very nice. Sure. So this perception we understood. So to understand this perception better, so we saw that this perception is basically like goggles, you know. It's like goggles. If I wear a black goggle and it's very bright outside, how would I see things? I would see things black. If I wear green goggles, how would I see things? I would see green, right? So this perception is like goggles. So let me tell you another story related to this. I had a friend and she wanted to marry someone. So she said that I want you to meet that boy. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I went and when I was meeting that boy, I actually realized that that person, he actually cannot see the side things, like his eyes cannot move sideways. He had some problem with his eyes. So it went fine, like the meeting went fine. And when I went to my friend and I told her that, hey, you do you realize that that person whom you're going to marry, he actually cannot see sideways, like his eyes are cannot move that side. She said that no, that is not possible at all. I said yes, that is true, but she wasn't ready to believe me actually. So then what she did was she asked other people also around, like his friends and other colleagues that we had in office. So she asked them. And then she got to know that yes, it's true. But why was it that she was not able to see that? We say that love is blind. Why do we say that? Because we perceive it in that way that my person is always right. He's perfect, right? So even if somebody points out anything which is not right, you will not be able to accept that. You won't agree to it because you always perceive in a certain way, right? So our perception impacts what we see, right? Do- And you know, it also impacts what we hear. So we hear also based on our perception. Let's say your mom shouts at you. How do we perceive it? She always keeps on shouting at me. She doesn't love me. But what is your mom's intention behind that? Your mom's intention is care. She wants you to have a good behavior. She wants you to succeed. That is why she is warning you. She's alarming you, right? So we don't hear mom with her intentions, but we hear mom with the perception that we have inside her, inside me about her, right? So can you see that we're not able to see the real world because we are not able to see what the situation actually is, or we are not able to hear what it is actually around us. We see and hear based on our perception. Perception is like a filter. Perception filters whatever we see. Perception filters whatever we hear. Do you understand perception? Because based on this perception, we create a story inside. Although mom's intention was good, she was shouting at me, but how did I perceive it? In a different way. So we don't see the world as it is. We don't hear the things around as it is. We perceive it in the way we want it. So does that mean that a person who's criticizing me, I'm perceiving that also? Does that mean that a person who's criticizing me or using slang words for me, does that mean I'm perceiving that also? Or the situation I think is not okay outside, am I perceiving that also? Yes, you're perceiving that also. Let's say if a person is criticizing you, those are just words. Those are just words. And we, by perceiving it, we are giving it a meaning. That how can this person criticize me? How can they talk bad about me? We are perceiving it in this way, which makes us feel offended. Right? So let's say there are 4 or 5 friends of yours. Imagine everyone standing, and that person who's criticizing and using slang words is criticizing and using that word for everyone. Does everyone react in the same way because the words are same? The words are same. Do we react in the same way or do we feel the same way? No. Why? Because we perceive it differently. The thing outside is outside, but how am I perceiving it and playing it inside determines how I feel. If I take those words and if I think that how dare he said those words to me, I would feel offended. But if I take those words and see, okay, it is his perception about me, it's okay. I don't take his opinion or whatever he say, I know I'm not that way. Will I feel offended? No. That is how your perception determines how you feel or how you respond. So the person who's speaking slang words, there's no reason for you to feel offended, because it is your internal movie that you're playing inside is what is making you feel offended. Why are we learning this? We're learning this because we need to understand the situation outside. We don't have control over it, but how I feel, how I perceive, how I play that movie inside me is determined by me and not by situations. Are we understanding that we have the power or control? I don't have to be personal about everything. I don't have to always feel criticized or offended or abused when somebody says something, because those are words and I am giving a meaning to it, right? I have the power to give any meaning that I want. That is the power that you have. If I want to feel offended or if I like being angry, then it's okay if I give it that meaning. But if I like to be peaceful or calm, then I have to give it a right meaning. Then I have to take it the way I want to feel peaceful about. I can play any movie inside that I want, any movie. So, but that doesn't mean the situations or people outside will always be okay. The trees will fail, the cars will hit you. Even if you work hard, it can happen that you won't succeed. It will happen that parents will shout at you, or your friends, they can reject you, right? The situations will happen outside. But the most important thing here, which we need to understand, is how are we perceiving it and what meaning are we giving to it? That is the most important thing, because that determines how I experience it. Is it clear? Can we change the situation outside? We cannot change the situation outside. What can we change? We can change our perception only, right? We can change our version of the story. We cannot change the story. We can change our version of the story, and that determines my experience, right? So situation outside will be as it is. The situation outside will be, repeat with me. Situation outside will be as it is. I can choose to feel differently. I can choose to perceive it differently. You know the biggest weapon that we use in all these situations? Can you guess the biggest weapon that we use in all these situations? Anger, thoughts. To, to actually overcome that situation, let's say I got angry. Okay, now I got angry. I just gave a reason. I got angry because of that person. So what is that I'm doing? To overcome my regret, or to prove myself right, what do we do? Guess. To prove myself. So once we feel angry, we have internal talks with ourselves, right? That yes, I'm right. We always want to feel right. What do? The situation outside is not okay. Somebody shouted at me, I shouted back. Then what we feel very low inside, that why did I do that, or I regret that. Then what do? The biggest weapon that we use is a blame game. It's a blame game that we keep on playing all the day. I felt angry because that person didn't behave my way. So the blame is to that person. I didn't get good marks because that teacher wasn't good. I am feeling irritated because my parents are not allowing me to go outside. What are we doing here in these three situations? We are blaming the other person for my irritation, for my anger, right? We are blaming the other person. Is the other person responsible for my anger, or I myself is responsible? Somebody shouted at me, I shouted back, and I'm saying to myself that, hey, I got angry because of you. Hey, I'm getting irritated because my parents are not allowing me to go outside. I got bad marks because teacher wasn't good. We do that. Why do we play this blame game? To prove ourselves right. That yes, my action or my anger or my irritation or my not getting good marks is justified. That is why we play this blame game to prove ourselves right. Right? Right. So, who is actually responsible for my anger? Is that person shouting at me responsible for my anger, or I myself is responsible for my anger? Or my not getting good marks? Is the teacher responsible or I'm responsible? I'm responsible because it is how I'm perceiving it, how I'm taking that and playing inside. Right? So teacher not teaching properly, teacher is doing her duty, right? Teacher is doing her duty. But you need to do your duty. You need to go and do a self-study. Then only you'll get good marks. Right? So parents not allowing us to go outside because they care for us, but we never see that perspective. We just see, we perceive it the way we want it. So we need to change the words here basically. The whole point is, I am not getting angry because of the other person. I am making myself angry because of that person. I am not getting irritated because my parents are not allowing me, but I am making myself irritated because I'm thinking that way. I am not scoring good marks because I am not studying the way I should. I have the full control of my whole world. I can choose to feel happy. I can choose to feel sad. It depends upon me, not the situation, not the person. I am not troubled by my past. I trouble myself with the past by thinking about it. I don't get angry, I angry myself. I don't get irritated, I irritate myself. I don't get troubled, I trouble myself. Nobody can offend me, I offend myself. Can anyone make you happy? Similarly, things goes for happy emotions also. I make myself happy. Right? So on the first day of the class, we learned all the feelings that we have. We did a 5 why technique and we got to the root cause of it. We identified. So each feeling, behind each feeling it is your own thought. Thought is the movie. You're able to relate with things. You're able to relate. So the thought is the movie. So for inside, for my inner world, what is the movie? How can I play the movie? By my thoughts, right? Is this point clear? Do you have any questions? No one can make us happy till we are on our own happy. True. So I told you about my situation, right? I went to such a beautiful park, but I wasn't feeling happy. The situation was so good, but I didn't feel so. So no one can make us happy also until I want to be happy. Okay. So there are three kinds of business. So, you know, in spirituality, we learn everything. We learn about business. We learn about inner world. We learn about outer world. We learn about vibration, thoughts, everything, you know. So today we learn there are three kinds of business. Okay. So first is my business. Second is other people's business. And the third is God's business. What is my business? My business is how I play the story inside. Okay. What is other people's business? However they behave, that is their business, right? And third is God's business, which we'll understand eventually. Okay. But what do we generally do? Do we mind our own business? Do we mind our own business? Or we always, do we mind our own business? Do we? No, right? So 90% of the time, if you see, right? 90% of the time, if you see, we never mind our own business. We just keep on dictating how other people should do, how other people should behave, how other situations should be, how the thing should be. We keep on dictating that. We always want things to be our way. If we keep on dictating that, or if we keep on just putting our attention how outside world should be, we'll not be able to mind our own business. We'll never know how to respond. We'll always react, right? Is this point clear? So somebody messaged me, we feel nice in other business. Why do we feel nice in other business? Because we don't know how to mind our own business. So let me ask you, is it easy to dictate someone how to behave, or is it easy for you to mind your own business and tell your mind how to think? Which one is easier? First one or second one? To tell others how to behave or to tell ourselves how should I behave? Which one is easier? One or two? First one. It is very easy to tell others like you should do this, you should do that. It happens, right? So when our friends come and ask us that, hey, I need your help, so we can very nicely tell them that, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, it's okay, you can handle this situation, there's nothing to worry about, you can work hard, you can get out of this, there's a whole life behind you, there's nothing to worry about. But when it comes to ourselves, are we able to do the same? Are we able to do the same with ourselves? No. It's very hard to tell ourselves what to do because we don't know how to mind our own business. Simple, right? So we need to understand that the situations, the other people, they can never be their way. They will never be, sorry, they'll never be my way. It will always be what it is. The situations, the people will be what it is. You need to just learn this phrase. It is what it is. The thing outside is what it is. I cannot change it. What I have control over is my emotions and my feelings. So first thing that we learned today is it is what it is outside. And the second thing is I cannot control outside. I cannot control situations. I cannot control people. It only depends upon my perception about how I see things or how I feel. Right? These 2 points are clear. Okay. Do you have any questions? If anyone has any questions, you can ask me. Okay, sure. So we'll do a short meditation. Sure. Sit back and relax yourself. Take a deep breath. Behind your eyes, see a beautiful white space. A white space. A bright white space. This is where I create my movie. Just sit there for some time and observe the outside world. The outside world is as it is. My inner world is my creation. I don't have control over the outside world, but in this inside world, I create my own movie. Let's create a beautiful movie and experience it. See yourself in a beautiful garden. It's such a pleasant weather outside. A rainbow, colorful flowers, and birds chirping. The sound of leaves, the sound of air. It's so beautiful here. Just be there. Just feel the nature. This is my movie. This is my theater where I can play any movie and I can experience it like I'm experiencing now. I'm experiencing peace. I'm totally calm. Such a beautiful movie. Now sit inside your movie and watch the outside world. The outside world is as it is. The people around me is as it is. But how I feel depends upon my perception. The movie I play inside. So today, from now on, I'll always play happy movies because it's my theater and I have full control over it. Feel that power. Om Shanti.